Have you ever narrowly avoided jail?
I always knew I had one of those faces.
Growing up in Westerville, Ohio, people constantly told me I looked familiar.
You remind me of my nephew. Or don't you work at Target?
No, I don't work at Target, Karen, but I got used to it.
My friends would joke that I was the most generic-looking white guy in Ohio. Brown hair, brown eyes, average height. The kind of beard every dude has now. I thought it was funny until it almost ruined my life. It was a Tuesday morning when everything went sideways.
I was stocking shelves at the hardware store where I worked, minding my own business, when 2 cops walked in.
They weren't there for light bulbs. Jordan Mitchell, one of them asked, "Yeah, that's me. You're under arrest for armed robbery."
I literally laughed like out loud. I thought it was a prank, but then the handcuffs came out and my coworkers were staring, and suddenly it wasn't funny anymore. They arrested me right there in aisle 7 next to the paintbrushes.
My manager, Kevin, just stood there with his mouth open like a fish.
The cops read me my rights, while Mrs. Henderson, our regular customer, watched from behind a display of garden hoses.
At the station, they showed me the security footage from a gas station robbery that happened 3 days earlier. The guy on screen had my exact build, my exact beard, my exact hairstyle. He was even wearing a gray Champion hoodie, just like the one hanging in my closet. The resemblance was so perfect it gave me chills. "That's not me," I kept saying.
But even I had to admit, it looked exactly like me.
Same everything.
If I didn't know I was innocent, I would have thought it was me, too. 3 witnesses picked me out of a lineup.
3 separate people who swore up and down they saw my face that night. The robbery happened at 9:47 p.m. on Saturday.
Where was I?
Home alone watching YouTube videos about conspiracy theories and eating leftover pizza. No calls, no texts, no proof of anything. My mom came to visit me in jail.
She looked at the footage and said, "Honey, that really does look like you." "Thanks, Mom. Real helpful." My public defender was this tired-looking guy named Tom who probably had 50 other cases.
He laid it out straight. If we go to trial and lose, you're looking at 5 to 7 years.
The evidence is strong.
Eyewitness testimony is powerful stuff. He suggested I take a plea deal. 2 years in prison for something I didn't do. 2 years of my life gone because some random guy happened to look like me and rob a gas station. I was seriously considering it. What choice did I have? But something felt wrong about giving up. I asked Tom for a continuance, which annoyed him, but he got me 2 more weeks. That's when I decided to become my own detective. I screenshot the clearest image from the security footage and posted it on Reddit with the title, "Does anyone recognize this guy?"
Long story, but it's important.
Most responses were jokes about how I looked like every white guy ever. But after about 6 hours, I got a direct message from someone with the username Treine Tracker. "I think I know this dude.
Let me check something."
20 minutes later, they sent me a Facebook profile. Justin Reeves, 26, from Lancaster, Ohio, about 30 minutes from where I lived. The profile picture made my stomach drop.
It was like looking in a funhouse mirror.
Same beard, same build, same stupid haircut I'd been rocking for 2 years. I scrolled through his posts. This guy wasn't trying to hide anything.
He had photos from parties, check-ins at bars, the whole social media life.
But what caught my attention was a TikTok he posted the Monday after the robbery. It was one of those get ready with me videos, but he was showing off this silver watch.
Not just any watch. The exact same watch the robber was wearing in the security footage.
Same brand, same style, everything. I screen recorded that TikTok so fast my phone almost overheated.
Then I dug deeper.
Justin had a criminal record. 2 previous robbery charges, 1 conviction. This wasn't his first rodeo. I called Tom immediately. I found him.
I found the actual guy. Tom sounded skeptical until I sent him everything.
The Facebook profile, the TikTok, the criminal history.
"This is good," he admitted. "This is really good."
We presented everything to the prosecutor. Within a week, all charges against me were dropped. Justin got arrested 2 days later. Have you ever almost gone to jail for something you didn't do? I have. And if it weren't for one late-night Reddit post, I'd probably still be sitting in a prison cell right now. Growing up in Westerville,
Ohio, people always told me I had one of those faces. You know the type.
"You remind me of my nephew." Or, "Don't you work at Target?" No, I don't work at Target, Karen, but I got used to it. My friends joked I was the most generic-looking white guy in Ohio. Brown hair, brown eyes, average height, patchy beard. I thought it was funny, until it almost destroyed my life. It was a Tuesday morning at the hardware store where I worked.
I was stocking shelves, minding my business, when 2 cops walked in. They weren't there for nails or paint thinner. One of them locked eyes with me and said, "Jordan Mitchell?"
Yeah, that's me. You're under arrest for armed robbery. I laughed.
Actually laughed out loud. I thought it was some prank my buddies cooked up.
But then the handcuffs came out, cold steel around my wrists, and my coworkers were staring. Kevin, my manager, looked like he'd swallowed his tongue. Mrs. Henderson, one of our regular customers, peeked out from behind a rack of garden hoses like she was watching a soap opera. Suddenly, it wasn't funny anymore. At the station, they shoved a laptop in front of me and hit play.
It was gas station security footage from 3 nights earlier.
My blood ran cold. The guy on screen looked exactly like me.
Same build, same brown hair, same scruffy beard.
He was even wearing a gray Champion hoodie, the exact brand I had hanging in my closet. I swear, if I hadn't known I was innocent, I would have believed it was me. That's not me, I kept repeating. But even my own voice sounded unconvincing. It got worse. 3 eyewitnesses picked me out of a lineup. 3 separate people swore they'd seen my face at that robbery. The robbery happened at 9:47 p.m. on Saturday. And where was I? Home. Alone. Watching YouTube conspiracy videos and eating leftover pizza.
No alibi, no witnesses, nothing. When my mom came to visit me in Holding, she watched the footage, turned to me and said, "Honey, that really does look like you." Thanks, Mom. Real helpful. My public defender was this tired-looking guy named Tom. He looked at my file like it was just another number in his stack.
"Listen," he said, "if we go to trial and lose, you're looking at 5 to 7 years.
The evidence is strong. Eyewitness testimony is powerful. You should seriously consider the plea deal. 2 years. Do your time, get out. 2 years. For something I didn't do." My stomach twisted.
Part of me wanted to just take it, get it over with. But something deep down screamed at me not to give up. "Get me a continuance," I told Tom. He sighed, annoyed, but he filed the paperwork. 2 more weeks. That was all I had, so I became my own detective.
I pulled a screenshot from the gas station footage, posted it on Reddit, and wrote, "Does anyone recognize this guy?" Long story, but it's important. At first, all I got were jokes.
"Bro, you look like every white guy in Ohio. Is that the default NPC skin?" Hilarious. But then, 6 hours later, I got a DM from someone with the username TreeEinTracker. I think I know this dude.
"Give me a minute." My hands shook as I waited.
20 minutes later, a new message popped up with a link to a Facebook profile. Justin Reeves, 26, from Lancaster, Ohio, just 30 minutes away from where I lived. I clicked. And my stomach dropped. It was like looking into a funhouse mirror.
Same beard.
Same haircut.
Same build.
Same everything.
The resemblance was uncanny. I scrolled through his profile.
Party pics, bar check-ins, dumb memes.
Then I found it. A TikTok he posted the Monday after the robbery.
One of those get ready with me videos. He was showing off a silver watch, not just any watch. The exact same model the gas station robber wore in the footage.
Same band, same face.
Same detail down to the scratch on the bezel. I screen recorded so fast I thought my phone would explode.
Then I dug deeper.
Turns out Justin had a record. 2 prior robbery charges, 1 conviction. Suddenly, everything clicked. I called Tom immediately. I found him. I found the guy. He sounded skeptical until I sent him the screenshots, the TikTok, the record. "This is good," he admitted. "This is really good." We turned everything over to the prosecutor. Within a week, all charges against me were dropped. And 2 days later, Justin Reeves was arrested. When I walked out of that courthouse a free man, my mom hugged me like she'd never let go. Kevin from the hardware store texted me, "Aisle 7 misses you." And I just stood there in the parking lot,
realizing how close I'd come to losing years of my life for nothing. All because I had one of those faces. Story 2, she said, "I'm freezing my eggs with my ex's sperm."
"It's already done," I responded.
Interesting choice. Then I had my vasectomy reversed and started dating her fertility doctor's receptionist.
When she went for her next appointment, I, 38 male, found out about the eggs on a random Thursday afternoon. My girlfriend, Desiree, 35, had been acting weird for weeks.
Secret phone calls, mysterious appointments, the whole deal. I figured she was planning something for my birthday.
Turns out she was planning something. All right, we were eating takeout when she dropped it.
"I need to tell you something."
"I've been freezing embryos with Garrett's sperm. It's already done."
Garrett, Her ex-fiancé, who she'd been with for 7 years before we met. The one she claimed was ancient history.
I put down my chopsticks. Embryos with your ex.
Yes, I needed a backup plan. You had a vasectomy, remember?
What if we don't work out? I'm 35. We've been together for 2 years, Jess. Exactly. Only 2 years.
Garrett and I had 7 years of history. His genetics are proven. His sister's kids are brilliant.
I took a sip of water.
Interesting choice. She actually smiled, thinking I was taking it well.
I knew you'd understand. You're so rational about everything. It's just insurance, babe. Like emotional insurance. How many embryos?
12. We made 12. When?
Over the last 3 months. That's where I've been going on Saturdays.
All those Saturdays, she said she was at yoga retreats. Cool. Does Garrett know what these are for?
She laughed. Actually laughed. Of course he's excited about it.
He says it's like we're keeping our options open.
He even offered to pay half the storage fees. I nodded slowly.
So, you and your ex have been creating potential children behind my back for 3 months.
Don't be dramatic.
They're just cells right now.
Cells you plan to potentially grow into humans. Only if things don't work out with us. It's not like I'm planning to leave you, but you're planning for when you do. She rolled her eyes. Every smart woman has a backup plan. Ask anyone. I finished my meal in silence while she chatted about the clinic, how professional they were, how Dr. Hendricks was so understanding about her situation.
She even showed me the paperwork.
12 Greta embryos frozen and waiting. That night while she slept, I made my own appointment with Dr. Hendricks. Not for a consultation, for a vasectomy reversal. Update 1. The reversal surgery went smooth. Dr. Hendricks was interesting, kept making comments about modern relationships and how complicated things were these days.
His receptionist, Brooke, handled all my paperwork. She was professional, but I caught her eye roll when she saw Desire's name in the system.
Complicated situation, she asked carefully. You could say that. She printed my forms. Dr. Hendricks sees a lot of unique cases.
Your girlfriend's was definitely memorable because of the ex thing. Because she brought him to 3 appointments. They wore matching future parents' t-shirts to the retrieval.
What actual hell? I must have looked shocked because Brooke quickly added, I shouldn't have said that. HIPAA and all. No, I appreciate the honesty.
Recovery was a but manageable. Des never noticed because she'd started spending more time with Garrett to discuss storage facility options. Yeah. Okay. Then things got really interesting. Garrett started coming to our apartment. Des introduced him as part of our extended family.
Now, this man would sit on my couch, drink my beer, and talk about their embryos like they were picking out puppies. I've been thinking, he said one evening, about names. If it's a boy, definitely Garrett Jr. does laughed.
We already discussed this. Garrett Theodore, after your father.
They had name discussions for hypothetical children, while I was sitting right there. What do you think? Garrett asked me. Since you might be helping raise them someday, I smiled.
I think Garrett Theodore sounds perfect.
Des beamed. See, I told you he'd be supportive. 2 days later, I ran into Brooke at a coffee shop. We talked. She mentioned she was single.
I mentioned I was basically single too. Just hadn't filed the paperwork yet. We exchanged numbers.
Our first date was perfect. She knew exactly what I was dealing with. And she had stories. Oh boy, did she have stories.
You wouldn't believe how many women come in with their exes, she told me.
But your girlfriend, she took it to another level. She had him initial every single embryo container.
Initial them like they were signing yearbooks.
You're kidding. Nope. And she made this whole speech about preserving their love in front of the entire staff. Dr. Hendricks had to excuse himself.
We thought he was sick, but Sandy caught him laughing in the supply closet. I started documenting everything. Every visit from Garrett. Every conversation about the embryos. Every time Des mentioned their beautiful genetic legacy. Then Des hit me with the next bomb. Garrett and I think we should have a ceremony. A what now? An embryo blessing ceremony. His mom's pastor agreed to do it.
Nothing legally binding, just spiritual. You want a pastor to bless embryos you made with your ex while dating me? You're invited too. We want you to be part of this journey.
When? Next month. Garrett's already designed the invitations.
She showed me the invitation. It had a picture of an ultrasound, not even their actual embryos. Just a stock photo with the words celebrating future possibilities. In gold script, I said I'd think about it. Then I made plans with Brooke for that same day. Update 2. The embryo blessing was on a Saturday. Des wore white to bless embryos with her ex while dating me. Garrett wore a matching white suit they'd coordinated. I told her I had to work. She was disappointed, but said Garrett's mom would live stream it for me.
How thoughtful. Instead, I spent the day with Brooke at a harvest festival. We posted photos all over Instagram. The ones where she's sitting on my lap. The one where we're kissing in front of the pumpkin display.
The artistic shot of our hands holding hot cider. Des didn't see them immediately because she was busy with her embryo party, but her sister Camille did. My phone exploded around 3:00 p.m. Who is that woman? Are you kidding me right now, bro?
Not cool during our special day. Yes, Garrett called it our special day.
Like it was their wedding. I didn't respond to any of them. Brooke and I went to dinner, then back to her place.
When I got home Sunday morning, Des was on the couch with Garrett.
Both of them still in their white outfits from the day before.
She'd been crying.
He was comforting her.
How could you? She demanded.
How could I what? Cheat on me during the ceremony. I didn't cheat. We went to a festival with that receptionist.
I saw the pictures. Yes, with Brooke. We're dating.
Garrett stood up.
You can't date her. She works at our clinic.
Your clinic? Where our embryos are. The embryos have nothing to do with me, remember? They're your backup plan.
Death started sobbing harder.
You're supposed to be supportive, understanding.
That's why I chose you. You chose me because you thought I'd be a doormat while you built a family with your ex. That's not... she looked at Garrick for help. He stepped forward.
Look, Manto Man here.
You knew Des came with history.
You knew about me. I knew you existed. I didn't know you'd be creating children together while she was with me. They're not children yet,
Des wailed.
But they're blessed by a pastor now. So what are they? She couldn't answer that one. Then came the kicker. Garrett sat back down and took her hand. Maybe this is a sign, DeCessi.
Maybe we should just be together for the embryos.
Would DeCessi. He called her DeCessi.
And she didn't correct him.
I've been thinking that too, she whispered. They both looked at me like I was supposed to leave my own apartment so they could discuss their embryo family in peace. Cool, I said.
I'll pack your things.
Update 3.
Des moved in with Garrett that same week, but we weren't done yet. She had a scheduled appointment at the clinic for her hormone check.
Apparently, she'd been taking supplements to prepare her body just in case she needed to use the embryos soon.
How romantic.
Brooke texted me. She's on the schedule for Thursday at 2:00 p.m. Just FYI. I happened to be there for my follow-up at 1:45. What a coincidence. Des walked in with Garrett and his mother.
His mother, Eleanor, was carrying a binder labeled Grandchildren Planning with tabs and everything.
They saw me in the waiting room. Des froze. Garrett puffed up his chest.
Eleanor looked confused.
What are you doing here?
Des demanded follow-up appointment for what? Vasectomy reversal.
The look on her face.
You know that meme where the guy's brain just blew screens? That you got it reversed 6 weeks ago. But why? Wanted to keep my options open. You know, emotional insurance. Garrett stepped forward.
That's manipulation. Like creating embryos with your ex while in a relationship. Eleanor finally spoke up. Who is this man?
Her ex-boyfriend, ma'am.
That's I said politely. No, Garrett is her ex. Oh, the realization was beautiful. Desiree, you were living with someone else while making my grandchildren? They're not grandchildren yet, Mom, Garrett muttered.
You said you were back together. We are now.
After you made embryos while she was with another man.
The waiting room was silent.
Everyone was watching. Even the fish in the aquarium seemed interested. Then, Brooke called Des in for her appointment. But here's the thing. Brooke had been prepping for this moment, Miss Thornan.
There seems to be an issue with your account.
What issue? The credit card on file was declined for your storage fees.
That's impossible.
Garrett paid them.
Garrett went pale.
I thought we were splitting them. You said you'd handle it. I paid the first month. That was 3 months ago.
Brooke typed carefully.
According to our records, you're past due by $2,400. The facility needs payment immediately. Or what? Des shrieked. Dr. Hicks came out. Is there a problem?
The storage fees, Brooke explained professionally. They're significantly overdue. He looked at Des and Garrett. Well, you'll need to sort that before we can proceed with any treatments.
This is insane. Des turned to me.
Did you do this? Do what?
Not pay your storage fees for embryos I'm not part of?
You knew about this?
How would I know you two weren't paying your bills? Eleanor pulled out her checkbook.
How much exactly?
Mom, no.
Garrett started.
$2,400 for the past due plus $800 for this month. Brooke said helpfully. $3,200? Eleanor's voice could have shattered glass. For potential grandchildren that were made while you were dating someone else, she snapped her checkbook shut and marched out.
Garrett ran after her.
Dee stood there shaking. Your appointment? Brooke prompted sweetly. I need to reschedule.
Of course, though, I should mention the storage facility requires payment within 30 days, or they'll need to make decisions about the embryos.
Des left crying. I had my follow-up. Everything was healing great, and Brooke and I went for lunch after her shift. Final update. It's been 3 months now, and here's where everyone ended up.
Des and Garrick broke up after 2 weeks of living together.
Turns out when you're not secretly creating embryos, you don't actually have much to talk about.
She wanted him to get a second job to pay for storage. He wanted her to ask her parents for money. They had a screaming match that got them both evicted from his apartment. The embryo's still in storage. But here's the twist.
Garrett's mom, Eleanor, actually paid the fees. Not because she supported them, but because she hired a lawyer to explore her grandparental rights to the embryos.
Yeah, that's a thing she's trying to make happen. Des and Garrett are now legally fighting her for custody of embryos that don't even have a wound to go to yet.
Des texted me last week. This is all your fault. If you'd just been supportive, none of this would have happened. I replied, interesting perspective. She sent 23 more texts that I didn't read. Garrett reached out too, wanting to grab a beer and talk man-to-man about what happened. I declined. He's now dating someone new, who apparently doesn't know about his dozen frozen potential children or the legal battle with his own mother. Des tried to switch fertility clinics, but needed her records transferred. Brooke handled that request. Apparently, Des cried at the desk for 20 minutes about how everyone was against her love story. Plot twist. Dr. Hendricks retired early last month. At his retirement party, Brooke brought me as her date. He gave a speech about the wild things he'd seen in his career.
He didn't name names, but his story about matching t-shirts and embryo blessings had everyone in tears laughing. The best part, my reversal was successful.
Brooke and I aren't trying for kids yet, but it's nice to know it's an option, a normal option, without X's, blessings, or matching outfits involved.
Des's sister Camille actually apologized to me last week.
She said watching the whole thing unfold made her realize how insane her sister had been. She's now telling everyone that Des needs therapy, which Des calls betrayal at the highest level. Oh, and those professional photos from the embryo blessing. The photographer posted them on his portfolio with the caption, "When you thought you'd seen everything, they went viral in a wedding shaming group." Someone commented, "Is this performance art?" And honestly, looking back, maybe it was. Brooke and I are doing great. We're moving in together next month.
Her co-workers call her the embryo home wrecker as a joke, which she finds hilarious.
We're thinking about getting a dog. A normal dog, not one that needs a blessing ceremony or has joint custody with an ex. Sometimes I think about those 12 embryos sitting in their frozen limbo while 3 adults fight over them in court.
And I can't help but laugh. Somewhere out there, Garrett Theodore might never exist.
And honestly, that's probably for the best. To answer the question everyone asks, no, I don't regret the reversal.
Even if Brooke and I don't work out, at least I know my future family planning won't involve surprise embryos,
white outfits, or anyone's ex initial ironing containers, and Des. Last I heard from mutual friends, she's joined a support group for women going through fertility trauma. She tells them about her ex who sabotaged her dreams by dating the receptionist. Nobody knows she's talking about the ex she was currently dating while making embryos with her other ex.
Life's wild, y'all, but at least it's not.
Bless 12 embryos with your ex while living with your current boyfriend.